Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006.
Hola, bienvenidos a Discapacidad Televisión. Recuerda suscribirte para no perderte los últimos estrenos y programas en vivo. Danos un me gusta, y así nos ayudarás a conocerte mejor. Por favor, no te olvides de compartir. Así, más personas podrán disfrutar de Discapacidad Televisión y toda su programación. Muchas gracias.
La Universidad Católica Boliviana San Pablo abre sus espacios educativos promoviendo medidas de acción positiva que favorece la inclusión en la educación superior de personas con necesidades educativas específicas, a través del área de inclusión, discapacidad y equidad, la cual facilita el tránsito adecuado en el acceso, permanencia y salida exitosa de sus estudiantes. Promueve la actualización en la formación docente sobre la temática. Desarrolla e implementa mecanismos y estrategias de apoyo equitativo en el aula. Aplica el modelo social de la discapacidad para transformar culturas y prácticas inclusivas. Todos los días en la Universidad Católica Boliviana trabajamos con entusiasmo, creando sinergias en la comunidad universitaria por la igualdad de oportunidades con responsabilidad y respeto, sobre todo personas.
Definitivamente para mí desde que se abrió el metro, fue una ayuda maravillosa. Ya no tengo como que levantarme con 2 horas de anticipación para poder irme a la universidad, ¿no? Sino que todo ese tiempo lo utilizo para estudiar, lo utilizo para hacer mis deberes.
En mi caso yo puedo contar que mi estrés ha disminuido totalmente. Llego tranquilo y frescamente al trabajo y también no estoy con la preocupación de que tengo que salir rápido porque el tráfico es terrible.
Lamentablemente por mi discapacidad tenía que movilizarme en los buses urbanos que les llaman. Los choferes, hay muchos de ellos que no son amables, entonces se me hacía muy difícil. Para nosotros el metro sí ha sido una gran ayuda. Cuenta con el ascensor, cuenta con las rampas donde puede entrar la silla de ruedas. Entonces ahí se le hace un poquito más fácil a mi hijo empujar la silla, subirme, todo eso.
Por ejemplo, cuando vienen personas con discapacidad, el personal del Metro de Quito ingresa a los vagones, les ubica dentro de los asientos o en las zonas preferenciales para las personas con silla de ruedas y pues una vez que les dejan ubicados, ahí recién salen y pues continúa el trayecto del tren.
Esos días de trasladarme al centro de Quito, que para mí había sido históricamente o ir en carro o ir en bus, era realmente complejo. Entonces ir en 10, 15 minutos, estar en el centro de Quito era algo mágico. En realidad llegar y descubrir en ese momento de una cosa tan rápida, eso me resultó realmente placentero.
Yo vivo en el sur de Quito y pues la mayoría de las instituciones en las que incluso podemos hacer prácticas se encuentran en el centro o en el norte. Entonces yo creo que en caso de que pues llegue a trabajar en una de estas instituciones, definitivamente el sistema de transporte nos ayudaría muchísimo, claro, para incluso no tener que cambiarnos de residencia para poder acceder a estas plazas de trabajo.
Sí, les diría que prueben, que se atrevan, que sí es factible, sí es importante para nosotros estas facilidades que nos da el metro.
El Metro de Quito yo creo que es el proyecto más importante de las últimas décadas en la ciudad. El Metro de Quito nos ha puesto en movimiento y es la gran oportunidad para construir una ciudadanía corresponsable.
Me encanta cómo se está construyendo toda esta cultura de respeto, de cordialidad, como que se están retornando a los valores de la gente quiteña cálida, amable, como siempre ha sido.
Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006. A continuación, Footless EE.UU, más allá de una amputación. Presenta EE.UU BECKWITH. Características de este programa. Audio en inglés, subtítulos en castellano.
Hello there, my beautiful, lovely, talented, and delightful, good-looking internet friends. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Footless Joe, where I am still Joe, and I am indeed still missing a foot. I usually pull my leg up to show proof, but I'm wearing jeans and boots right now, so you're just gonna take my word for the fact that this is not a real leg. Hear that? Now I have placed wanted posters around saying, my foot went missing, I still haven't been able to find it, but no one's given me a call yet, so if you see a disembodied foot wandering around, chances are it's mine, give me a call. Today we're going to be talking about a story of failure and victory all at the same moment. A really cool thing happened this weekend, something that I have been dying to do / terrified to do for my entire childhood and adult life, and a riveting tale of amputees and snow sports like snowboarding. We shall dive into just a moment, but first I wanted to thank our sponsors today, which are my beautiful, amazing patrons over on Patreon. Also, a heads up, if you are a patron of mine or you'd like to become one, I have some cool polls coming up in the near future where you will be able to vote on things that determine future things on my channel. You'll see what I mean soon, but hop over to my Patreon and check it out if you're interested in supporting this channel in that way. Link on screen and also down below. Also, stay tuned until the end of this video for some cool announcements. But without further ado, let's talk about what happened this past weekend, which was gosh darn it, went snowboarding. Now, if you are new to my channel, you may not know why this is a thing or a big deal. I mean, snowboarding's cool, right? People get excited about it, whatever. But this is something I have never dreamed of being able to do. Back before I had my leg amputation, I was expressly told never to try skiing or snowboarding because of the damage in my ankle that I had, so it was always off the books for me. And I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado, meaning that we are near Breckenridge and Vail and some of the most amazing ski and snowboarding places in the world that I have never even been able to consider going to because I was not physically capable of it. But now that my amputation has really healed and I'm doing well, a friend of mine invited me up to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We have no idea what we're doing here. We're the least snowboardy people in all of Steamboat. The drive there is absolutely gorgeous, by the way, to learn snowboarding from him. And a very important detail here is that he is an above-knee amputee with 2 Paralympic medals, a gold and a bronze, and is an absolute sweetheart. Noah, thank you again for having Brian us up. Now, the story here is not amputee snowboards for the first time. In fact, it will probably be another video for another time. But the story I actually wanted to tell you is what happened after I learned snowboarding. So before we get there, the long and short of it is Noah did a fantastic job of teaching Brian and I the basics of how to get on a skateboard on the snow and not totally die. We were sufficiently bruised and sore by the end of the weekend, but it was absolutely incredible. Here's a video of me attempting one of my first runs down the tiny little training bunny slope where it's really just kids and then me trying to learn to snowboard. But after the lesson, the next day Brian and I went to actually try some of the slopes, and the reason why there is no footage that I'm about to show you is because it turns out when you are both learning to snowboard, you kind of need your hands free for when you repeatedly fall and hit the snow. I now very much understand why people who do more extreme sports always have GoPros on, because there was no way I could hold a camera and film either myself or Brian while also trying to stay upright on the snow. So with that being said, I do have plans to do a snowboarding video in the future where I'm bringing someone with me to actually show you guys what I'm doing and what I'm learning and how I make it work with my leg, which is really exciting to me. But with that brief synopsis, allow me to share with you the tale I promised, one of success and failure all in one moment. So I've had this tendency since I was a kid to push through things, to push past pain, to get it done, and I think there are certain situations in which that can be an asset, but oftentimes for normal daily life, you just end up hurting yourself, and it took me years, and I do mean years, to unlearn those habits. When faced with anything difficult, with any kind of physical challenge, I would always push through discomfort and pain and end up damaging myself further or hurting myself rather than say, hey, I need a break or I'm not capable of this right now. And over the years, I've gotten increasingly better at knowing my limits, but to be honest with you, this is something I very much still struggle with. I feel like there's something in me that's equated like value and worth with the ability to push through pain or like prove that I can do it anyways. And that is just a false narrative. And I've tried really hard over the past few years to recognize that, to like put it in its rightful place when it comes up. But a new sport, something like snowboarding, when there are a lot of people watching, when you are surrounded by people who are fantastically athletically capable, and then there's you, it brought up a lot of old temptations for me. So towards the end of the day, my leg was starting to hurt quite a lot. So I took a break, thought I was good, said, okay, let's head to the top. So we went to the very top of the mountain. Don't worry, it was like green and blue slopes all the way down, so I thought I was gonna be fine. But I got about a third of the way down the mountain, and I was in a lot of pain because the way that I have to slow down on a snowboard puts so much pressure down into my prosthetic socket and just jabs my tibia right into that carbon fiber, and it's rubbing back and forth and caused a lot of pain. So I took a couple breaks and was like, I gotta get to the bottom, I gotta do this. Like all these children on their all these children on their snowboards who learned 3 days ago are zooming past me doing awesome, and then there's me like sitting on the ground feeling like an idiot, a very uncoordinated duck, or perhaps a gazelle in the snow. Long story short, I did not look very graceful, and I felt that energy bubble up, right? That push through this, you got this, Joe, keep going, no need to call it quits, like you only got a few more hours to go, just stay on the mountain, like push through it. And then for one of the first times in my life when I was presented with this kind of a situation, I really stopped to reevaluate what I was doing and why I was doing it. I was literally hurting myself when there was no purpose to that. There was no one telling me I needed to stay on the snowboard and get to the bottom of the hill. There was no one telling me that I sucked or I was a failure if I didn't. The only reason I was refusing in my own brain to stop was my ego and feeling like it'd be shameful or weak if I did. But the reality is it's not shameful or weak to listen to very real signals your body is giving you. I actually think that's a sign of perhaps a little bit of wisdom and growing strength. And so just when I was about to get on another lift, I called it. I said, you know what? I need to go back down the mountain. I need to be done with this day.
So this is the look of defeat/victory. I'm on a green slope, which means it should be very simple to get down. But I looked at it, my leg's been super angry. I decided to cut my losses and walk like an idiot down the mountain, which is not fun, but I knew my limits, I stuck to them. I'll call that a good day.
So I stopped and I took off my snowboard, and feeling like someone who was very out of place, I walked on the side of the run all the way back down the mountain, just carrying my snowboard, limping along in the snow. Generally, that's a situation in which my little competitive ego would not allow me to dare consider. Honestly, for dumb reasons, like the fact that I saw no one else doing the same thing all day, the fact that I thought people would think judgmental things about me whizzing by, but I stuck to it and I did it. And slowly but surely, I walked my way down and I called it a day, and I got back home and I got my leg off and I actually rested. And that story would have gone so differently pretty much any other time in my life. I would have pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until perhaps my leg was bleeding in my socket for all I know. Because if you grit your teeth and you get through it, that means you're worth something, right? No, actually. It turns out if you take care of your body, you can do something the next day. If you don't take your body to the absolute breaking and shattering point, which I am very familiar with, life is still good. In fact, it feels better. I feel like this is a struggle for many people. This idea of like never give in, never give up, never quit, no matter what the reason. These are kind of theologies, I guess philosophies would be a better term, philosophies that are taught to so many of us and in so many motivational quotes and posters. And again, I think there are certain situations where they have their place. When we're talking about daily life, where I am not a professional snowboarder, this is not the last run of my life where I have to prove something. I'm just a person trying something new and learning it, and leaving a little bit of my ego back in the snow felt like failure, but was honestly the biggest success. Looking back at this weekend of snowboarding, it's absolutely amazing to me that I was able to try this and do this, something I literally could not do 3 years ago with a human body part I can now do with a metal one that's suctioned onto me. But the bigger win for me was knowing when to stop, because that is a very hard balance to get a hold of. I think it was really important for me to demonstrate to myself the benefit of stopping, because I was actually able to walk the next day. Yes, I was sore from everything I felt oh so many times while learning, but I didn't push myself past my actual limit. I got to that limit and then I called it, and that is something that I have rarely ever been able to do. And it's a good sign of progress and something I hope to continue to build on. If you're like me and you relate to this, if you also have that like grit your teeth and get through anything no matter what mentality, hey, I get it. I am the same way. But I wanted to share this story for those of us who do have this trait, and for those of us who have it pop up in perhaps not the healthiest of places. There is a lot of value in knowing your limits and stopping when you hit them or even before you hit them. It's not any kind of character flaw to say, hey, I'm in pain, I should probably stop, instead of just smiling and pretending like you're fine and gritting your way through it. Also, again, a huge shout out to Noah. Thank you so much for taking the time with Brian and I. That was such a gift. It was amazing to learn from someone who so knows what they're talking about, also just a delightful human being, but also someone who knows amputee life because he is one himself. I felt really comfortable and really like exciting, accessible, and awesome to be able to learn in that kind of environment. And it's one of my favorite memories of 2021. I guess it's only like 2 weeks. It's one of my favorite memories in a very long time, so thank you, Noah. I really do wish that this video had more like snowboarding footage, just because I'd be really excited to share that with you, and also it's just visually neat to watch. But like I said, my hands were occupied and so were Brian's, so that did not happen this time. But I do have a plan in the future here to get you guys a very cool snowboarding, learning to snowboard as an amputee video, which I think might be really awesome for my audience who is amputees to kind of learn a little bit about it, and also for those of you who are not amputees, which is most of you. Hey, you two-leggers, how's it going? Kind of see how it's done, and also just see some cool snowboarding stuff. So be on the lookout for that video in the near future. Now, at the beginning of this video, I promised an exciting announcement, and that is what I'm about to give you right now. I recently joined up and partnered with a company called Wisio after thinking about it for quite some time. This is a place where you can go and you can have me answer any question under any topic you might like. You can check out the page at this address or also linked down below. But I wanted to make something really clear. When I was talking with this company, I really wanted to make sure that if I started this service, that it was something that'd be accessible to anyone regardless of your financial situation. So I had them set up a tip-only option. So if there is something that you're wanting to know about becoming an amputee, about life in the aftermath of trauma, or motivation, general advice, whatever it is, please feel free to use that. It is $1. I will answer your question as thoroughly as any of the other options. And if you have the financial means, feel free to tip whatever you might want, and if you don't, that's okay too. So check it out. I'm really excited to start answering some questions. I've already had a couple requests, and it's been really fun to be able to answer things more thoroughly and in depth for people one-on-one. So check that out if you have anything you've ever wanted to ask me. I will be responding to all requests on that platform. And today we are going to be talking about one of the most fascinating aspects of being an amputee. And by fascinating, I also mean kind of really frustrating, infuriating, but also really interesting. And that is phantom sensation and phantom pain. Chances are, if you were like most people who talk to me, you've heard about this on Grey's Anatomy. People ask me all the time if I watch Grey's Anatomy, have I heard the episode about phantom pain? Did I try the mirror trick? And I will be answering all that and more in this video. This is everything you have ever wanted to know about phantom pain and phantom sensation. I hope I cover everything. If I didn't, you let me know in the comment section down below, and I promise you I'll do my very best to answer your questions. So just a couple days ago, I had the honor of being interviewed for a high school thesis paper on phantom pain and phantom sensation. As I was answering this lovely lady's questions, hello Laura, by the way, I hope you're doing well, it reminded me how weird this whole thing really is, and I wanted to share some tidbits about it with you guys today, as I know it is a topic a lot of people are interested in hearing a little bit more about. As we dive in today, I would like to give a huge thank you and shout out to all of my patrons over on Patreon who supported this video today and make videos on this channel possible. If you are interested in joining our Patreon community, I will tell you that there's a new exclusive video that went live just yesterday on my Patreon, but if you're interested in checking that out, link on screen and also down below. While you're here, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, maybe that like button, maybe ringing that notification bell so you can see more of my videos pop up in your recommended feed, that would be fantastic. And now let us dive into the topic at hand, or should I say the topic afoot? Get it? I promise no more bad puns for the duration of this video, and yes, I might break that promise. I wanted to start by talking a little bit about what phantom pain is, and then I'm going to share a little bit about my experience, and we're going to answer some weird questions along the way. One of the first questions people ask me is phantom pain actually real? Like, is it just all in your head? And my answer is it actually is all in your head, because everything we experience, every kind of sensation we experience, comes to us from brain signals. And what phantom pain and phantom sensation is your brain trying to send signals to a part of your body that isn't there anymore. Now, I am not a scientist. I will not be able to describe this in scientific terms. I have placed a couple articles in the description down below if you are interested. But basically, when you are born, your brain has a map of where your body parts are. It's how we know how to do this. It's how we realize where our body parts are in relation to our body. However, when a body part is removed from the equation, that map in your brain of those body parts doesn't necessarily get the message that that part is no longer there. And so it keeps trying to connect to it. It keeps trying to send signals. And when those nerves fire, it can produce some really uncomfortable or weird sensations. Sometimes it feels like itching. Sometimes it feels like intense pain. The scale varies really broadly when it comes to what kind of pain and sensations an amputee might experience. But to answer the question there, it's very real pain. It's nerve pain. And unfortunately, nerve pain can be pretty difficult to treat. So then all amputees probably experience phantom pain, right? I was surprised to find out the answer is no. I actually have two friends who are both below knee amputees, and neither one of them have ever felt phantom pain, and I'm just like, how? I'm so happy for you, but how? Because I definitely experience it. How each individual body reacts to amputation is different. So some people get it really badly to a very disabling extent, and some people never feel phantom pain at all. I kind of fall in the middle of the spectrum. So while we are on the topic, let me share a little bit about my own personal experience with phantom pain. So one of the biggest concerns I had when heading into amputation was phantom pain, because it's unpredictable. Because like I said, it affects people in different ways. You have no way of knowing what you're gonna feel after amputation and how severe it's gonna be. So the pain I was having before amputation was really bad, but there was no guarantee that the pain from phantom pain was gonna be any better. But we took an educated risk, an educated guess, and did the amputation. So when I woke up from my surgery, I can tell you this, from the very moment that I woke up from amputation to present day, I have always felt my foot. I can tell you right now, I'm wiggling my toes. You can't see it, but I'm definitely wiggling my toes. They are somewhere up in body part heaven, and I'd like to think they're wiggling back at me. That might be too weird of a joke to leave in the video. Wiggling my toes right now. Can't you see it? From that moment of waking up, the sensation of my foot being with me has never left. One of the best ways to describe it is if you take a moment and you close your eyes right now and you wiggle your sets of toes, however many you may have, that's what it feels like, right? Like, I just can't see it, but I can feel it. I can experience that it's still there, even though it's gone. Now, the first couple weeks after amputation surgery, I didn't feel a lot of phantom pain. However, once phantom pain did start up, I think it was about a week or two after amputation, it started up with a vengeance. I started feeling electricity, like really painful electricity, like as if someone was sticking a cattle prod to the bottom of my foot. And I remember days of being on the couch feeling like I was losing my mind, because I was quite literally, this sounds dramatic, but like writhing in pain. My husband can attest to this, because I was being shocked over and over and over, and there was nothing that I could do about it. Now, they did put me on a nerve pain medication for phantom pain called gabapentin, but unfortunately that didn't seem to do much for me. There's a second one people often try called Lyrica, also didn't do too much for me. So unfortunately there wasn't a whole lot I could do aside from like grit my teeth and bear it and hope to God that it went away. But I also did start doing mirror therapy, which we will talk a little bit more about here in just a second. But what I can tell you is that that first few weeks of phantom pain was agonizing, but thankfully over time it did dissipate, and it's kind of gotten to this steady level of, I get a lot of electrical feeling pain. Sometimes I'll feel like someone is cutting the side of my foot open, which is one of my least favorite sensations. Honestly, the one that I hate the most is feeling like in between my toes are being paper cutted. Don't ask me why. That is what my brain has decided to come up with, but it is so weird and uncomfortable, because first of all, I've never gotten a paper cut on my foot, but it feels like someone's just like sliding a piece of paper in between my little toes that aren't there anymore. So for the past 2 years or so, phantom pain has been pretty steady, and my phantom sensation, that being the feeling of that my foot is still there, that I can move my toes, or even things like someone touching my foot or itching, have existed every day. A lot of amputees who do experience phantom pain and phantom sensation will tell you that the itching is one of the most crazy making things, because there's nothing you can do. Like imagine having an itch on a part of your body that lasts for hours and you can't touch it. Like, that is torture right there. I've had it last for like hours a couple times and I'm like, oh my god, I am going to lose it. Thankfully, it does eventually go away. Now, there is one other thing that they tried for phantom pain and phantom sensation for me, and that was a TMR procedure. That stands for Targeted Muscle Reinnervation, where essentially, again, not a scientist, not a medical professional, they embed your nerves into your muscles so that they have something to fire into, and the risk of neuromas forming is a lot less. A lot of amputees have said that this completely cures their phantom pain, and other ones, such as myself, it doesn't do a lot for. When I had my second amputation surgery, because the first one ended up not going well because of a fall, I had to have another couple inches taken off my leg. While they were in there doing that surgery, they thought we might as well give this a shot as well. Unfortunately, it did not do too much for me, but I'm grateful that that surgery exists and happens to help a lot of amputees who have a really hard time with phantom pain. And if you are around me long enough, you'll see me being in conversation, being animated and talking with you, and then all of a sudden just being like, because someone in the afterlife of my foot has decided to start shoving a kettle prod against it, and I feel that, and it's very painful, and it usually only lasts 10 to 15 seconds, and then it goes away. Occasionally I'll get like phantom pain attacks where it keeps going off for a few minutes and it's really frustrating and painful, but again, it doesn't tend to interrupt the course of my day. It lasts for short enough periods that I'm able to just grit my teeth and bear it, get through it, and then go on with my day. So let's talk a little bit about the question that everyone seems to want to know. Does mirror therapy work? Have I tried the mirror trick? Most people who ask me this are like, have you watched Grey's Anatomy? Did you try the mirror thing? And I'm like, I think you're talking about mirror therapy, and yes, I have. So, mirror therapy is one of the most bizarre and fascinating things, and I couldn't tell you why it works, but I can tell you that a lot of amputees have a lot of success with it, and I happen to be one of those amputees. When I started experiencing phantom pain to a large extent in those first couple weeks after my amputation surgery, I got a big mirror and I started trying this out. Now, mirror therapy is essentially where you place a mirror, in my case, in between your legs, and you look into the side of the mirror where your remaining leg is, and you're able to suddenly see that you have two legs again. And you start making movements with your good foot and moving your ankle around, maybe moving your toes, and watching your other foot, your other leg that you can now see in the mirror. Your brain now sees you have two legs. And you make these movements, and for whatever reason this can be therapeutic to your brain. For instance, if you are having a bad itch on your phantom foot and there's nothing you can do about it because it's not there anymore, you could try putting a mirror up and looking into the mirror at the foot that's itching and scratching your remaining foot, and it looks like you're scratching your phantom foot. Some people experience relief by doing this. However, practicing mirror therapy over time, doing it a couple times a day for weeks, was really helpful to me. I thought it'd be like immediate relief from pain. It's definitely not. It took a while to set in. I'd practiced just making little movements in the mirror every day for quite some time, and eventually it helped. I don't do mirror therapy too much anymore because, like I said, it's kind of at a manageable level, and I haven't seen a whole lot of improvement by doing more mirror therapy, but it's something that can be really beneficial to people. I would love to know more about why it works. If there are any articles I find about that, I will also link them down below. So let's pause for a moment and go back to phantom sensation. I explained that I can always still feel my foot as if it was a real foot that was still there, but one of the weirdest things to me is that as time has gone on, I can still move my toes, I can still move my ankle, but it feels like I'm moving through like wet cement or mud. Like, it feels like everything is just so slowed down. Like, if normally I could just like move like this, it's like just barely moving. Like, I can make it move, but it takes effort to do so. One thing that was really interesting to me about phantom pain is that it does not mimic what I was previously feeling. For instance, the pain that I had in my ankle from all of those surgeries and my initial accident, all of that, I wondered if maybe because I had felt that pain for so long, if those pain pathways had been created in my brain, and if I would then feel phantom pain in my ankle in those same places. Very glad to report that has not been the case for me. I don't feel ankle pain anymore, except if I'm feeling like phantom cramping or something like that, but I don't feel the same kind of pain that I experienced previously. Okay, so I need you to bear with me for this next part because I know it sounds super weird, but I promise you it is true. The most bizarre thing about having phantom pain and sensation is the fact that sometimes real movements and actions can be felt. What I mean by that, if I am looking at my prosthetic foot here and I drop something on my toe or someone touches my foot, I feel that for a second. Like, if I visually see it, if I'm looking at my foot and something happens to it, even when it's this plastic foot, I feel the actual sensation that I would have felt had my real foot been there. And my darling husband Brian knows this, so the other day I was sitting in my office with like my feet up on my desk because I'm a monster and I have no respect for my furniture, and he came in and he like grabbed my big prosthetic toe and I was like, babe, I can feel that, you know I can feel that. And he's like, yeah, I know. It's such a bizarre thing. I've had a friend like give me a foot massage before just to see what I could feel, and I can feel parts of it. There's something about our brains and anticipating some kind of sensation where if we expect to feel something, we end up feeling that. And I have also felt this when I've stepped in weird ways that previously used to give me a lot of ankle pain, and I feel like that movement is similar. I'll feel like a flash of that old pain for a second before my body kind of catches up and realizes like, oh, it's not there anymore. It really makes me wonder about the nature of pain and how we experience or feel anything when I can feel something just because my mind thinks that I should. It's absolutely fascinating, something I would love to learn more about, but I would definitely say the weirdest thing about phantom pain and sensation is the fact that, yeah, if someone steps on my toes, I feel it for a second, even though I can't technically feel it. Bodies are weird. So there's only been one thing I've been able to find that actually makes phantom pain worse or really triggers it, and that's if I put my leg on in some kind of way that must be pushing on a nerve that doesn't want to be pushed on. There have been times when I like put my liner on and all of a sudden I am in like a ton of this crazy electrical pain and I have to rip it off really quickly, and then it's fine. It's like that nerve gets irritated or agitated or pinched or something like that, and I feel all of that and then it goes away. But aside from that, there's been no way that I've found to predict when I'm gonna feel phantom pain, to know what makes it worse, to know what makes it better. It really is kind of random. Some days I barely feel anything. Some days I have these phantom pain attacks that last for a long time. Does phantom pain or phantom limb sensation get better over time? Different people have reported different experiences with this. I can tell you that for me, it hasn't resolved at all. It's been pretty steady. But for some people, they have phantom pain for a little while and then it completely dissipates. It's like your brain adjusts. Hopefully one day my brain will, but it's entirely possible that I'll feel this for the rest of my life. However, compared to the pain that I was in before amputation, I will take this kind of phantom pain any day. And there we have the definitive guide to phantom pain and phantom sensation. I hope I answered most of the questions that you might have in your head. These were a lot of things that I wondered about. If you have any questions, like I said, please leave them in the comment section. I will do my very best to answer as many comments in the comment section as possible, and maybe if I forgot enough things that you're interested in hearing about, I'll make a second video addressing more in the world of limbs that don't exist sending you signals. For the record, I also think it's entirely possible that we are still connected to our amputated limbs, and there's someone up in severed body part heaven that just keeps stabbing a cattle prod to the bottom of my foot, which is very unkind of them, and that's why I feel phantom pain. But scientists would disagree, but I mean, what do they know, right? They've only spent their whole life studying this. It is really odd that when you get rid of a body part that's been giving you trouble, in my case, of course, there are many other reasons for amputation, that you still feel it. It almost seems kind of cruel of your brain, even though I realize that cruelty is not involved in our biology and physiology and how we work. But it does seem kind of cruel that your body's like, nah, even though it's gone, I'm still gonna make you feel it. But I do not dictate how nerves work, I just live at the mercy of them. Thank you for hanging out with me today and learning all about the wondrous world of phantom pain. Not quite wonderful, it's a little weird, it's a little uncomfortable, but it is really fascinating, isn't it? I really appreciate your time and spending a few minutes out of your day here with me today. You could be anywhere in the world doing anything else, and you chose to hang out with me for a few minutes, and I truly appreciate that. Also, a huge thank you to my patrons again for making these videos possible. I love you guys. I am so eternally grateful for your generosity. Thank you. I love you guys. I'm thinking about you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Haven't heard from the sky all about it. Down the river, high tide flows around it. Through the whispers of pines, I hear them sing. The more you love, the more you live.
Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006.
¡Hola mundo!
Hola, bienvenidos a Discapacidad Televisión. Recuerda suscribirte para no perderte los últimos estrenos y programas en vivo. Danos un me gusta, y así nos ayudarás a conocerte mejor y saber qué programación es tu favorita. Por favor, no te olvides de compartir. Así, más personas podrán disfrutar de Discapacidad Televisión y toda su programación.
¡Hola, mundo!
Muchas gracias.
El Instituto Nacional para Ciegos INSI tiene la tarea de garantizar los derechos de los colombianos ciegos y con baja visión de Colombia, en términos de inclusión social, educativa, económica, política y cultural. El INSI, la entidad adscrita al Ministerio de la Igualdad que asesora a entidades nacionales, territoriales y locales que tienen a cargo la atención de los casi 2 millones de personas con discapacidad visual del país. A través de sus servicios brinda asesoría en educación inclusiva, accesibilidad digital y física e inclusión laboral. Cuenta con la imprenta nacional para ciegos que produce y entrega material especializado en diferentes formatos. Y cuenta con una tienda que pone a disposición más de 180 productos para posibilitar el desempeño de las actividades cotidianas de una manera autónoma e independiente. Y como escenario para el acceso al conocimiento desde cualquier lugar y en cualquier momento, tiene la biblioteca virtual para ciegos que pone a disposición libros en formatos accesibles, con diversas obras y géneros. Y para garantizar la participación, el acceso a la cultura y el entretenimiento, escuche INSI Radio, la emisora virtual que le da voz a las personas con discapacidad visual. Instituto Nacional para Ciegos INSI, trabajando por una Colombia más incluyente. www.insi.gov.co.
Still a thing.
La Universidad Católica Boliviana San Pablo abre sus espacios educativos promoviendo medidas de acción positiva que favorece la inclusión en la educación superior de personas con necesidades educativas específicas, a través del área de inclusión, discapacidad y equidad, la cual facilita el tránsito adecuado en el acceso, permanencia y salida exitosa de sus estudiantes. Promueve la actualización en la formación docente sobre la temática. Desarrolla e implementa mecanismos y estrategias de apoyo equitativo en el aula. Aplica el modelo social de la discapacidad para transformar culturas y prácticas inclusivas. Todos los días en la Universidad Católica Boliviana trabajamos con entusiasmo, creando sinergias en la comunidad universitaria por la igualdad de oportunidades con responsabilidad y respeto, sobre todo personas.
I want to be when the decisions are made.
What should Sophia wear for your brother's wedding?
I think this dress could be really nice.
Or maybe this one a little less formal.
It pairs well with her beautiful smile.
I want to be when this decision is made. When this decision is made, I want to have a say in the dress that I wear. Don't you think that it's fair? Let me have a look at these clothes. You want the truth? I don't like any of those.
The objective of this meeting is to approve this new proposal for an elegant and functional train station.
I want to be where this decision is made. Where this decision is made. If I'm here, I can help you recall that what's right for some isn't always right for all.
Here's the new place for all supplies. You might not realize that for me it's too high.
When you do this, you got to dash.
Our info points now have touch screens.
It's great for those who are able to see.
During
so give her the seat too.
We want to be where the decisions are made. Where the decisions are made. It's time for us to be what and think. Where the decisions are made.
This is what I'll wear.
¿Conoces los programas que conforman a la CNDH? 6. Atención a personas con discapacidad. Este importante programa, perteneciente a la primera Visitaduría General, trabaja de manera conjunta con organizaciones de la sociedad civil y dependencias de los 3 órdenes de gobierno, a través de la promoción, difusión, orientación y acompañamiento en casos de presunta vulneración a los derechos humanos de las personas con discapacidad. Además, realiza investigaciones, informes y diagnósticos acerca del estado que guardan los derechos humanos de este sector de la población, a fin de dar a conocer las áreas de oportunidad, coadyuvando con la asertiva toma de decisiones en pro de la inclusión. Si consideras que tus derechos han sido vulnerados, acércate a nosotros. En la Comisión Nacional de los Derechos Humanos, defendemos al pueblo.
Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola, mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006.
Hola, bienvenidos a Discapacidad Televisión. Recuerda suscribirte para no perderte los últimos estrenos y programas en vivo. Danos un me gusta y así nos ayudarás a conocerte mejor. Por favor, no te olvides de compartir, así, más personas podrán disfrutar de Discapacidad Televisión y toda su programación. Muchas gracias.